Today I'm going to be talking about how to achieve your goals. I'm going to be talking about this from a creation and manifestation scientific perspective. This is not the regular work hard, think smart, don't do what every other person is doing perspective. No, this is not motivational speaking. I'm not a motivational speaker. I talk reality based on the laws of science and physics, based on the laws of the universe. Proven facts of how reality works, how the universe works. There are scientific creation and manifestation methods that work for achieving your goals and desires. And that's what I always talk about on this channel, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So first of all, let me mention that I usually don't use the word goal or goals. The reason is because the word goal auto suggests to you that you are separate from that desire. You're separate from that goal. So when you mention the word goal, automatically you're already thinking, I have to work towards it. You cannot work towards where you already are. If you're working towards something, you're not there. Does that make sense? So the idea of goal means this is you here and your goal is somewhere there. So in between you and the goal, you must do certain things, work hard, try harder, think smart, get some skills and do so many things before you get there. Now, this is exactly the opposite of what creation and manifestation stands for. Creation and manifestation requires you to become the version of yourself that already has that goal. The idea of the goal creates a gulf in between you and the goal. Creation and manifestation, from a scientific perspective, collapses this gulf. In other words, it collapses the space between you and your goal. In quantum physics, this is called collapsing the wave function. That is why in the field, time does not exist. There is nothing physical there. There is not even a particle. Everything is happening now, simultaneously. Is making sense? So the idea is begin to pay attention to everything that comes out of your mouth because it easily reveals to you the state you are in. So using the word goal or things like ambition, even desire in a very careless way suggests that you don't have it yet. Now, that is sabotaging what you want. Now, does it mean that time is not involved at all? Of course, time involves because you're still in this 3D reality that time is a fourth dimension of, which is the 4D. So you require time, basically, but it is not a function of delay. It's not a function of it taking too long to show up. It's a function of it taking form, becoming a physical reality that is called the manifestation. So I'm going to be using the word goal in this video loosely, subjectively, and then at some point I'll drop it. I just want to get your attention. So pick a desire in your mind, something that you've always wanted, or a goal that you've always wanted to achieve in your life that you haven't, even the one that feels it's impossible or the one that you've given up on. Just pick it up and hold it in the screen of your mind. Now, pay attention to the few thoughts I'm going to release right now. This is going to be quick but powerful. Everything in the universe is made of energy. The smartphone you're using to watch me now, the couch you're sitting on, whatever physical matter is energy. That is why Einstein understood this when he developed the most famous equation, E equals mc squared. Energy and matter are interchangeable. They are the same. They are just on a different frequency, but they are the same. So you are made of energy. If you're matter, which you are, you're made of energy. Your smartphone is matter, so energy. The couch you're sitting on is matter. Everything is energy. So everything in the universe shares one thing in common. Even with the sun and the stars and the moon, everything. That thing is what? Energy. And this is why they developed this idea called entanglement in quantum mechanics. So you are entangled with everything in the universe. That means you are connected to everything. Now, this is a powerful statement because if you're connected to everything, including your thoughts and your desire, that means they are already in your reality because you are energy. Everything is energy. This is why hard work and looking for something is an illusion, is a hoax, is not real. It's trying to take away your power from you. How can you work hard to get what you already have? Except if you didn't know that you already had it. This is the reason why systems of the world are trying hard to keep you in their systems because you don't know your power, you don't know what you are, you don't know who you are. You don't know that you are already entangled with the money you're looking for. You're already entangled with the car you're looking for. When people struggle for money, lie for money, steal for money, kill for money, this is exactly the same thing that they are entangled with, that they already have in their reality. But because they lack knowledge, because they lack this knowledge, they can do anything. That is why a certain ancient man said, you are gods, but you can die like mere men. That desire that you have picked up in your mind, How can you make it materialize? Instead of working hard to get what you already have, how can you convert it into physical reality? That is the question. And it makes it easier now, doesn't it? And it's pretty simple to do too, if you understand the process. Now, I already mentioned that everything is energy, which I believe you can see how now. Now, energy is always vibrating at a certain different frequency. When Einstein said, like I also mentioned a few minutes ago, that energy and matter are the same. They are just vibrating on different frequencies. Matter is energy that is stable. It is the most stabilized form of energy. That is why it looks like it's not vibrating, but it's still vibrating. Nothing is still, nothing rests, everything is vibrating very, very fast. But your eyes don't have the capacity to see that level of vibration, but your smartphone is still shaking now as you're watching me. Your skin is still shaking, nothing is resting, but they are vibrating on a different frequency. The frequency of matter is slowed down. That is the reason why your eyes can catch it and it looks like it's still. Now, if everything is vibrating at a different frequency, and they are, that means your desire is not on your frequency right now. That's why you don't have it. You are vibrating on the frequency of lack. That's why you're always complaining about money. You're always complaining about everything. You're always complaining about the lack of it because you're feeling the lack. You're feeling separate from what you want. That is a different frequency. The frequency of your desire is not lack. The frequency of your desire is having. It's abundance. It's comfort. Let me put it this way. If you have what you want right now, will you feel lack of it? The answer is no. If you have what you want now, right now, what will you feel? What does it feel like? That is the frequency. Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel like release? Does it feel like ease? Does it feel like joy? Does it feel like bliss? Does it feel like empathy? Does it feel like happiness? What does it feel like? Take your mind back to the time you received something that you wanted so dearly and you finally got it. What was the feeling like? You never felt lack again for it. You felt like you already had it. That is the frequency. So, if you can tune into that frequency, let me say it more plainly without sounding so scientific. You can tune your body into that emotion that the presence of that desire produces in your life. You are on the frequency of it. Let's say you wanted a certain amount of money. Why do you want that money? That's an unscientific way of asking, tuning into the frequency, right? Why do you want it? Maybe you want it because you want to solve a certain problem. Solving that problem, what will it make you feel like? Does it make you feel relaxed, more at ease, not bothering about something? What exactly is that feeling? You can type it in the comments. Hold it in your mind. Now, try to swap that feeling to that desire now. Feel that you had that thing that you want in your life now. That is the frequency. Now, as you're feeling this way and thinking this way that the problem is solved, it's over, you're broadcasting it into the universal field called the quantum field or the universe. Your thoughts are not contained in your head. Your thoughts are energy, remember. It's not a physical thing that you can close the door behind it. Your thoughts are moving out and mixing up with everything in the universe. That is why it's energy, it's entangling with everything. Now, every thought and a feeling is a frequency. Every thought is a frequency or has a frequency. That frequency already has a match in the physical world that already exists right now. That physical match and the thought and the feeling of that desire will create a magnetic pull between each other. That magnetic pull will align you to the timeline where you are already living that life. It will happen naturally. You begin to get coincidences, get calls, get invitations, meet someone you haven't seen for a very long time. People who haven't called you will start calling you. You will just notice certain things will start to happen, leading you ultimately to the peak of that desire. Now you have created that desire. Is making sense? This is how it works. So I'm going to stop here now, but I will continue this conversation. Watch this video again. Let me know what you have learned. If you have any questions, type them in the comments. Help me share this video because this video is going to change somebody's life. Remember, you are made from energy and you are energy. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. If you match the frequency of you right now to the frequency that your desire is vibrating at, you are pulling it to you. It's no longer a goal. Remember, I said I was going to drop the word goal because having a goal just means that you don't have it now. You're working towards it. That is the 3D way of working hard and struggling, which doesn't always work. That is why all your goals, you're not keeping it. You keep repeating New Year resolutions every year because it's not working. The minute you start to work with the quantum laws, in other words, the minute you begin to understand that you already have those desires, you will begin to pull like a magnet. That desire will definitely find you where you are as long as you sustain that state. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. Remember, my new book, The Emotional Homeostasis for Manifestation, is still available. I explained all these things in that book. That book is going to change the way you look at life and reality as a whole. The link to place your order is in the comments or in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.